Hi everyone, Fox is here and I'm bringing you my December book haul part 1. I decided to split this haul in 2 parts just because I find it that the longer my videos are, the less people watch it, which is totally fair. I understand it. But since I got some pretty good books in December, I want to talk about them. That's why I decided to split it in 2 parts. Without further ado, let's get started. So in this part of the December book haul, I will be talking only about adult books, sci-fi, dystopian, fantasy, magical realism, whatnots. So let's get started. And the first book that I have here is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. And I've seen this book in my local bookstore. I don't even know how many times. I picked it up, I looked at it, I couldn't make like head or tail out of it. I just couldn't figure out what this book was about. But then I watched Sophie Caroline and she was raving about this book in several of her videos. This is an adult horror, dystopian, maybe a bit of magical realism as well. It's fairly short, book number 1 in the trilogy, I believe. And I'm excited to read it. This book is about a group of scientists who go to a specific area. This is 12th expedition. None of previous expeditions ever returned, so they're basically going into unknown, not knowing what is waiting for them or why those previous 11 expeditions never returned. This is usually not the type of a book that I would go for, but like I said, it is short. I know that a lot of books that Sophie has read appeal to me. We kind of have similar tastes when it comes to weird and magical realism. And I've seen this book so many times in a local bookstore. I just had to pick this one up. I got it from Book Outlet during Black Friday sale. And unfortunately it only arrived in December, so it's in my December book haul. Next I have a copy of The 13th Tale by Diana Centerfield, and that's another book that I picked up because Sophie was recommending it, and I got it from Book Outlet as well. This book is tagged as Gothic historical fiction on Goodreads. I'm getting a bit of like a ghost vibe from it. Anyway, I'm excited to read it. I've seen this book so many years ago on so many shelves, and I kept thinking, oh, this looks like pretty cool book. I mean, like, look at this cover. There are books in here. But I never picked it up. Really no reason, except for I couldn't really make out what it was about. But if this is a book about ghosts, past memories, writing, books, and everything like that, I'll probably like it. But I'm not very happy about the state that this book came in to me. I got it from Book Outlet, like I said, but for some reason, a bunch of pages, as you can see, are kind of damaged here. Not very happy with it. There's like a sticker at the back. What is this? I'm pretty sure I didn't order like a damaged copy. I usually order like new copies. So not very happy with it, but hopefully I'll get to it sometime soon, and I'm really hoping I'm not missing any pages here. So far they just look as if they were not cut properly, but otherwise they look fine. Next I have a copy of Alice by Christina Henry, and this is an adult retelling of Alice in Wonderland, or kind of like a spin-off on it. This is a horror, magical realism type of story, and it is about an old city in which there is a hospital and there is a woman with white hair that escapes from there, and there is some evil that escapes with her. So I'm really excited to read this one. I've been on kind of like Alice in Wonderland fairy tales retelling type of streak lately. I found this book initially in Book Outlet, but then it went out of stock very quickly, so I didn't get my own copy. However, later I went to Book Depository and I found this gorgeous, I think it's a UK edition. For some reason I want to say it's a UK edition. Yeah, it is a UK edition, and I really like it. I think it's pretty creepy. So I'm looking forward to reading this book. I'm not sure when, and I think it is book number 1 in a duology, or maybe even trilogy, but I'm kind of want to see, because you know what, Alice in Wonderland is a pretty creepy story when you think about it objectively. And there is so much potential, and you can play with the story so much and twist it, and you know, just pretty much do whatever you want with it. I'm still reading Heartless, and I read Queen of Hearts earlier this year, and I just want to read more about that world, because I think that possibilities for a writer are basically infinite. You can take any part of the story, Alice in Wonderland, and or any character, and just spin it around in whatever way you want. So I'm really excited to read this book. I'll let you know if I find it really, really scary or not. Next, I got the final installment in the Captive Prince trilogy, and this is King's Rising by C.S. Pacat. Finally have the third book. I picked it up from Indigo. Finally, I have it, and now I can just binge read the whole trilogy, because as you know, I absolutely hate reading books when I don't have books like 2 and 3 in a trilogy. I usually try not to do that unless I get a book from the library. So I finally have it, and yeah, God, I don't even know when I'm going to read it, but hopefully sometime soon. Let's say February. Yeah, February sounds like a reasonable deadline. Next, I have a copy of the Charioteer by Mary Renaud. I hope I'm not butchering this title, it would be just embarrassing. If you don't know, Mary Renaud is very famous for her historical fiction, and that features queer or gay romance. This one is set, I believe, either after the First World War or Second World War. It doesn't really say here, but it was first published in 1953, so probably Second World War. I know next to nothing about this book, but recently when I was thinking about some of those books and some of those authors that I read years ago, Marie Renaud kind of came to my mind, and I read her trilogy about Alexandra the Great, which I really enjoyed, and I still have that book somewhere. I have like an omnibus edition which has all 3 novels in one. And I decided to look for more books by her. It's been a while since I read any of her, and I kind of was in the mood for historical fiction, so I picked this one up. Another book that I picked by Marie Renaud is The Praise Sinner, and it is based on Greek mythology and also Greek society. There is a boy who becomes an apprentice to a famous sinner, and that's pretty much it. I don't really know much about it, but since it's Greek mythology, and it's been a while since I read anything about it. I recently was thinking about maybe I should reread Homer or something like that, but I might as well start with something very light. Next, I have a copy of The Rook by Daniel O'Malley, and this is a book number 1 in either a trilogy or a duology, and I've been seeing it a lot at Book Outlet some time ago and on BookTube as well. This is a story about a woman who wakes up in a park and finds out that she is a secret agent of some secret society intelligence group, and she basically doesn't remember anything, and she needs to figure out what's going on. I like this type of the stories. I like intelligence agencies. I like James Bond type of books. I like spies and detective stories, and this one not only has a detective storyline, but it's also kind of like a paranormal sci-fi type of story. Honestly, don't know that much about it, but I've seen this cover so many times. I just wanted to pick this book up and just be done with it, because I want to have it on my shelf. It's pretty cool. I also, and I really like this cover. I think it's really cool. Yeah, and look at the spine. Like, the spine really reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. Once again, it seems to be the theme of this video, but look at that. There is a teapot, there is a rabbit, there is also a rook. Well, octopus doesn't really fit into... I don't think there was an octopus character in Alice in Wonderland, but there were oysters, and also a rabbit, a teapot, and the whole theme with cards or chess. And it's just, I like this cover. I cannot wait to read this one. No idea. I have so many books. I know I say that a lot, but I have so many books, and I honestly excited about all of them. How am I supposed to read all of them? I have no idea. Maybe I should cut down on my sleep. Yep. Next, I have a copy of The Whale, a love story by Mark Bugard, or maybe Bugard. I have a feeling as if his last name should be read in a French way. Anyway, this is a novel about Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick, and his love story with another author. And I initially saw this book at Indigo. I picked it up just because I saw a whale on the cover, and I kind of thought about Moby Dick initially because, I mean, seriously, a white whale. And when I found that it's about the author, and I do like Moby Dick, it's one of those classics that for some reason stayed with me. I don't know why, I just like it. And I've been waiting to pick this book from the library for a very long time because this book, this little book, is freaking expensive. But then I got, it went on sale, and then I got a gift card, so I decided to pick my own copy. This is a historical fiction, but it's also fiction, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Yeah, I'm super excited. It's relatively short. And I think this whale is kind of cute. There's a bit of like a little house in there. Yeah, looking forward to reading this one for sure. Next, I have a copy of Equus by Peter Shaffer, and this is an original 1974 production. This is a play, quite well-known play, and it received a lot of awards. I saw it on Sophie Carolyn's channel, and then something clicked in my head and was like, wait a second, I've never read this play, I should really read it. And I am mesmerized by this cover. Just look at how stunning it is. This is like some magical photography thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one, and I definitely, I'm pretty sure I've seen something by Peter Shaffer before, but I've never seen this play, and I wish I could. I know it was on stage some time ago with Daniel Radcliffe, but I mean, maybe I should write a letter to National Theatre and tell them, can you just broadcast that? Because, yeah, even though they probably won't because of the nudity or whatever inappropriate content, but who knows. Next, I have a copy of Grief is the Thing with Feathers by Max Porter, and I've seen this book mentioned so many times on Jane Campbell's channel that I really wanted to pick this one up. Unfortunately, it's one of those books which is not available at my local library, and I couldn't find like an online, ebook copy, so I got this copy from I think it was from Ape Books, but I'm pretty sure it was delivered from Book Depository. I think this cover is really pretty. It is, and it has a bit of like embossing here, so it really stands out, like the, if you can see here, the feathers and also the title. It is a short, kind of like stream of consciousness, prose poetry / short stories collection, all about grief and dealing with grief, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. And I've seen Sophie Carolyn also recommend this one. I'm all about, you know, trying something new, especially if it's so short. I like the idea of reading something which is not conventional, you know. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And I like crows. Who doesn't like crows? Why did I say crows, not crows? Who can explain this to me? It's one of those things that I cannot pronounce properly on a first try. It's like, what is wrong with me? I have no idea. On the topic of Jane Campbell, I got her book, Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops. I got it, I think it's a used copy, which I got from Ape Books, and I have already flipped through it, and some of those things are absolutely hilarious. Honestly, it's just, there was one line about, oh yeah, this one. Do you have any signed copies of Shakespeare plays? Yeah, there are people who are asking for signed copies by Shakespeare. What? I cannot wait to read the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I will fly through it, and it sounds like so much fun. I cannot even imagine how how funny or how weird it can be working in a bookstore. I would have loved to work in a bookstore, honestly. I know that I should be happy that I have like a very office, nice job. I don't have to, you know, be on my feet or deal with weird customers, but I sometimes wish I really worked in a bookstore. I also got 2 issues of Ceremony, and this is by Sophie Caroline. I have read her Fox Fur and I found it very similar to my writing style, so I'm really excited to read 2 of her issues. And I also watched her video about how she made this issue and this cover, and it was kind of fascinating. Look at the side here. She's one of my favorite booktubers, and she's really awesome. So I decided to pick up her stories, very short ones. So I should have read them by now. I don't even know why I'm holding them without having read them. But December is kind of weird reading month. Not gonna lie. And the last, but definitely not least, is a not actual book, but a coloring book. And this is a coloring book, Choo. Choo is a graphic novel series or comic series that I was introduced to by Samantha from Sam's Nonsense channel. And once I got into a story and got over this whole weirdness about chicken being prohibited and this guy eating people to figure out what happened to them. Oh my god, that's really weird. Honestly, it is. And now they have a coloring book, and it's just filled with weirdness. Honestly, it looks freaking weird. Yeah, and you know what? I just noticed that those pages are perforated here, which means that I can actually tear them out and color them. Oh my god, this one is like Flintstones theme. Oh, wow, this is amazing. Okay, I cannot wait to color it. I ordered it, I think, in October or even September. The first I found out that there is gonna be a coloring book, and it took a while. It should have, I think it was supposed to be released in October, but it got released in like late November, and I finally got it in December. I don't know why it took them so long, but I'm really excited to have it. So yeah, I promise I'll do a time-lapse coloring of one of the pages, because those are gonna be crazy. Okay, this is it. This is the end of my December book haul part 1, and I'll see you in a part 2. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye. I can see a bit of a lake outside of my window, and today the lake is this deepest, richest blue color that I usually see in a sea, you know, like the Black Sea is that exact color. It's not the color of the Mediterranean. Mediterranean is different, but the Black Sea is like that. It's a very deep, rich blue, grayish, almost grayish color. And I also can see kind of like there is a ship out there or something. I cannot really see any details, but it just gives me an impression as if I'm at the sea, and I'm not. I'm still in Canada, still in Ontario. So yeah, it's so cool. Really, I've never seen the lake this color before.